Salam and welcome to the first episode of Brief Pause. When I was planning for this podcast, I made a list of topics that I wanted to discuss and talk about. So whenever I block out and I would just go check the list and pick a topic that I wanted to discuss, and so this podcast would keep on going. However, I told myself that I don't have to follow that list or follow the order of the topics. I told myself whenever I find something interesting that happened or something that I saw or something that I read and I have the flame to talk about it, I will just talk about it, because there's nothing better than talking about something the moment you have the fire to talk about it, and you will transmit it much better. And this is the thing with this episode. And as you can see from the title, How to Get Things Done, a pretty basic topic, really. However, the last 5 days, I've been having a kind of bad flu, I'd say. I'm getting much better now, alhamdulillah. However, I would say the two weeks before I had the flu, I was in my highest motivation and productivity. I did everything, my to-do list, I checked everything, and I even started working out, which is something that didn't happen for a long time. And then I got the flu. I was so tired. I barely attended my university classes, and it was hard for me to do anything. However, I listened to a book. The title of the book is The 5 Seconds Rule by Mel Robinson. I don't know if you've heard of the rule before, or the book, or the author, Mel. If you watch motivational videos on YouTube, of motivational speakers, then you've probably seen her, just don't know her name. But anyway, I listened to the audiobook actually on YouTube. So if you listen to this podcast on YouTube or IGTV, then I will leave the link of the audiobook. So if you want to listen to it, then you just go ahead, click the link and listen to it. As I said, I was barely doing anything. And so I told myself, I'm not doing anything, then at least I would do something useful and listen to an audiobook. I'm not even holding the book in my hand. And so I listened to the book, and I thought, this book is making me actually wanting to do things and motivates me, but I cannot really do anything, and my routine suddenly broke. I was lying in my bed the whole day. But yesterday, I actually felt much better, and I was able to do things, but I couldn't make myself do anything. I was just laying in my bed. It's like my routine suddenly broke, and then I got into this other routine of laying in bed and just drinking my medicine, and that's it. I felt myself like I am stuck there. And I woke up this morning, and I also felt the same kind of, and I told myself, I would wake up early, do this and that, but I did not do anything. But then it came to me. I told myself, what? This book is not going to waste. Especially when the book gives you strategy and ways to do things, and not just tell you that, oh my God, you're amazing, you can do this and you can do that, but gives you actually strategy. And I told myself, I'm going to use the rule. And before I tell you what the 5 seconds rule is, I will ask you to remember something for me. Or, tell me if this happens to you. I will describe a little situation, and then you try to remember whether this happens to you or not. Let's say you're back from school, university, work, and then you come home, and you know that there's this one thing that you have to do after, or you have an exam tomorrow, and you just keep on procrastinating. Let's say it's 4 p.m. You tell yourself, I'm going to start at 4:30, but then you don't start at 4:30, but then it's 5, and you tell yourself, your brain starts telling you these lies, and tells you, you know what, you can just start at 7 p.m. You will finish it in 30 minutes if you focus. So if you start at 7 p.m., then you can finish it by 7:30, and that's it. But then this moment comes to you, and you stop your head from thinking. Just block your mind and stand up and go ahead and do the thing. Try to remember whether this ever happens to you, where you just stop your head from thinking about anything or giving you any excuses whatsoever, and just get up and go ahead and do a thing. Just don't give the chance to your mind to think about what you have next, about what you're feeling, about anything. But just stand up. You just act. Because this happens to me. Sometimes when I want to do this thing and I want to really start, and I keep on, my mind keeps on thinking these things. Oh my God, I'm tired. I want some more time. Let's watch this video. Let's just see this thing. I know I'm doing useless things when I can do really productive things, but I'm just sitting there. But suddenly I tell myself, okay, I'm tired of this. And I just shut my mind. I don't let it think. And I go and do the things that I have to do. Well, this is basically the 5 seconds rule. The way Mel Robinson describes this 5 seconds rule, she says, the moment you have an instinct to work on a goal, let's say, start studying a new chapter, do something related to work on a goal you have, send an email, whatever it is, your brain has 5 seconds till it starts thinking about how you feel and then starts giving you excuses. Which is kind of true. Because let's say, when you set your alarm at 5 a.m., if you wake up and you directly push yourself out of bed, true, you would feel tired, but then it will go. But if you stay just a little bit longer in your bed and you start thinking about how tired you are, how tired you feel, you would really just have your phone and change that 5 a.m. alarm to 7 a.m. and keep on sleeping. She said in the book, which I find funny because it's true, she said if we all did all the things that we did not feel like doing, all our goals would be reached. When I am motivated, I don't really need the 5 seconds rule, or I don't need this rule to do the things, because I feel motivated. But let's face it, and let's be honest, motivation is not always there, and you cannot wait for motivation all the time to do the things that you have to do. If there's no motivation, you just not do it. She said 5 seconds rule. I will give you, a demonstration. If you have to wake up, let's say at 5 a.m., the alarm is on, you count, she says you count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up. Do not let your brain think about anything, and especially not think about how you feel. And it is something to do with everything, not just things that you have to do, like your homework, your work, studies, these things, but also if you want to talk to someone, or you are in kind of important event or something, and you found someone interesting, someone, let's say an author or someone like that, and you feel shy to talk to him, you don't let yourself think about it, because you will think, it's kind of weird, and what if I don't know what to say, and these things. Just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go ahead and talk to that person. I personally don't feel the need to count. Like, I just shut my mind, don't think about anything, and go and do the thing. And so when I didn't feel like doing anything, and I didn't do anything yesterday, and this morning when I had lunch, after lunch, I said, you know what, I will start using this rule. And it is only after lunch that I was productive. When I finished my presentation that I needed for university, and here I am making a podcast. I did a few other things, home related. I cleaned my room because I was kind of sick. And when you're sick, you just lying there and you feel like your room is a mess. I don't know why, but it happens all the time. So this is the first thing that I wanted to discuss when it comes to getting things done. Motivation is not always going to be there, and so you need to push yourself. And in order to push yourself to do something, do not give your brain the opportunity to think about how you feel. or to start giving you excuses why you wouldn't do something, or give you delusional ideas about how you can actually do that thing in 2 hours instead of 4, but you actually know you can't. But your brain keeps on tricking your brain, and your brain knows that it's tricking it, and it's complicated. Just do not give it a chance to keep you or stop you from reaching any goal you have. And then I had to ask myself, why would my brain stop me from reaching my goals? And it actually has a psychology behind it. Our brains is programmed to stop us from doing anything that might hurt us or may harm us. So when you don't feel good about something, it would just try and keep you away from it. When you try to wake up early and you're just not feeling good about it that morning, and you feel so tired, it just stops you from doing it, and you keep on sleeping. When you want to do something, you're doing something else that you want, like watching a movie, let's say, it would just makes you procrastinate and gives you excuses to just keep on watching the movie because the movie makes you feel good and you want to do it. There's something that you want to do. So the first thing when it comes to getting things done is not wait for motivation, never, but push yourself. And a way to push yourself is to stop your mind from thinking about anything, your feelings, what you think about that thing. You just stop yourself from thinking and act. Go ahead and do it. So now that we're done with the 5 seconds rule, again, the link is there if you want to read the book or listen to the audiobook. One of the second thing that I wanted to mention, let's say I want to do a lot of things tomorrow, inshallah, and I just, state all these things in my mind. I say, I want to get up on this hour. I want to do, like breakfast. I want to work out, and then I have this presentation that I have to prepare, and then I want to study this chapter, blah, 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 all these things. I would probably go up the next morning and do, let's say, if I really push myself or if I'm motivated to do things, I would do like 60% of the things. But then if I write them down, I would do, let's say, 20% more. So always make a to-do list. It doesn't have, to be like bullet journaling or having this fancy notebook where you keep all your lists, even though it's great if that's what you would like to do. But for me, it's kind of overwhelming. It takes me time. I either have, I have a little notebook called to-do list. I just write, because it's easy for me and have like little squares so I can check all the things I did. But it's, most of the times it's easier for me to use apps. So I use an app on my phone where I just write a list when I am about to sleep or when I wake up early. I just write all the things I want to do. The app I'm using right now is called Anydo. It's so simple. You can make to-do lists for today, the upcoming days. There's a calendar where you can mark all the important days. However, if you wanted to use something, I wouldn't say more complicated, but you have more to-do lists that you want to make, like studying lists for your chapters, you can use Notion. I think it's the best one there is for that. So again, humans are visual creatures, and no matter how much I've tried, and I'm someone who does the bare minimum. If I find the simplest way to do something, I will use that way. However, I always find myself do more when I write the list down, especially when there are a lot of things to do. I'm not saying, when you have just 2 things to do, you don't really have to write it down, even though it kind of feels rewarding when you check that thing out of your list. So you're kind of now playing on your psychology and the way you feel, which is, cool when you feel like you've done something. However, I've asked my friends that I know use to-do lists and family members, and they always tell me we do more things when we write the list down. And, you always would like to be more productive and effective. I'm not saying you have to write it down. You could always try. Go ahead. Try to write a to-do list. If you don't use to-do lists, if you find yourself that you accomplish more, then go ahead and use it. If it's the same for you, then you don't have to do it. You just have to try and find what works for you. One of the other things that I wanted to talk about, which is not a strategy or a way really on how to do things or to get things done, but more of a concept. When you plan the next day, and let's say it starts for you at 8 a.m. You know what you're going to do at 8 a.m. You know what you will be doing at 10 a.m. and you have your day planned, but then you oversleep or something happened that morning and it just doesn't go according to plan, and you feel like that day is screwed and you don't feel like doing anything. When your day doesn't go according to plan, it does not mean in any way that you cannot do at least one thing of the things that you wanted to do and push it out of the way. When it doesn't go according to plan, you have to make it go according to plan to a certain degree. When it doesn't go according to plan, it doesn't mean that the time left from that day will be wasted. Do at least one or two easy things that you wanted to do, or half of one thing. Just do something that you can actually now say, I'm done with this, it is out of the way. The last thing that I will mention, I love my class. It's funny to say, but really, I think my class is great. I am in my last year of my master's degree. I'm studying microbiology, and I think we grew to this little family. Lately, I've been asking them. I was like, guys, what do you think? What makes you productive? What motivates you? When do you feel that you are doing the most? What are the tips? I had answers, and then one of my classmates, he's top of the class, he gave some tips, and then the last tips he gave, and he said this is important, and I agree. He said, try to find something joyful about everything that you are studying, or everything that you are doing. Even though you love the thing, sometimes it gets overwhelming when it's too much. But try to find something joyful, or remind yourself why you're doing this. When you sit on your desk, you don't have to feel like you are the most miserable person on the universe and you are going into a war zone, and you just try to get rid of the thing and you're just so stressed and you have that anxiety. When you find something joyful and you actually like about that thing, it renders you more peaceful with it, and your anxiety and stress, you feel less burdened. And I don't think there's something better than finding joy about something you're doing. I mean, if it really doesn't give you joy at all, it will be terrible. It will be terrible. I just always feel so sorry for the people that do a lot of things in spite of them, or study something in spite of themselves. You should change, really. If you cannot find joy in it, you cannot shift your mindset. No matter how much you try, you just cannot find anything that you like about it. Please do not stay in that spot. Change. But for you folks that find something interesting about what you are doing, or you are trying to make yourself grow to love what you are doing, shift your mindset. And whenever you sit there and you start revising or studying, or even if it's your work or you're working on a business whatsoever, try to find that little joyful thing about what you are doing. Now, at the end of this podcast, the things that we discussed: first, motivation will not be always there, and you have to push yourself sometimes. One of the ways to do so is the 5 seconds rule. Second, how writing down to-do lists instead of stating the things that you want to do in your head will enhance your productivity. Third, when your day doesn't go according to plan, time left from your day doesn't have to go to waste. And fourth, try to find joy in everything that you do. This episode has come to an end. Thank you so much for listening. Salam.